Hello ladies and gentlemen, and thanks for hopping on to watch. Today we're going to go over some of the FPS changes coming in 3.23. This patch is changing quite a bit for people who prefer fighting on the ground, so this will cover quite a bit. The footage and data gathered were collected while this patch was in EPTU, which means it's likely to change at least a little bit prior to 3.23 going live, and certainly could change in patches after 3.23. Some of the stuff we're covering include general weapon changes, dynamic crosshair, sniper glint, FPS compass, ammo repooling, changes to the loot screen, backpack reloading, changes to the high magnification scopes, and finally, a new minimap. Starting out with general weapon changes, just about every single weapon is having either damage, fire rate, ADS, or reload speed changed in some way. Since there are way too many to list for a video, I'm going to include a link in the description below with those changes. Some weapons also have adjusted audio, which sounds much better in my opinion. Both scopes and iron sights on weapons have been changed a little bit to make everything easier to see when you're aiming down sight. The next item is the dynamic crosshair, which you'll see throughout this video when I'm holding a gun. It's essentially just a crosshair pointing to where your barrel is pointing. If your gun is facing up, say during a reload, the crosshair will also be pointing up and actually not be on your screen if your gun is pointing high enough. This crosshair only appears on combat helmets, so make sure you're wearing a combat helmet if you want it. The next item, which is the most controversial in this patch, at least for FPS changes, is the sniper glint. So now, when ADSing with an 8x optic or higher, there will be a glint which will warn players in the vicinity that you are aiming near them. This is not affected by the day-night cycle and is just permanently attached to those optics. One of the most exciting changes for FPS players in 3.23 is that we are finally getting a compass while on foot. This has been a complaint of mine for a while, and I know others have felt the same way, so I'm really looking forward to it. You can see the compass in this video here at the top center of the screen. It looks and functions just like the compass on ships. On the left and right hand side of the screen, about halfway down, there's also a gauge so that you can see what angle or pitch you're looking at. While I don't think this will be quite as useful as the compass is, it's still very nice to have, and I'm sure we'll find plenty of uses for it. The next new item we're going to be looking at is ammo repooling. Ammo repooling is essentially repackaging your magazines that are used on your body so that they're full again. So right here in this video, I currently have 4 Demeco magazines on my body, 1 on my gun, of course, and then 2 in my backpack. And I'm just shooting into the water here to basically partially empty all of the magazines on my body. I did miss a couple, so I'm just finishing that off right here. And then you'll see that all of the magazines that are on my body and in my gun are partially filled, which can be a bit frustrating as you're going through bunkers or going through PvP. To remedy this, now in 3.23, you can repool your ammo by simply hitting left alt plus 1. That's just left alt 1. You don't have to hit the actual plus symbol. And you can see in the bottom right, the ammunition is repackaging itself. It's taking the extra magazines that are in your backpack and basically taking the bullets or battery capacity, I guess, out and putting them into the ones that are in your gun and on your body. You can see there that one of the magazines that were in my backpack has reduced down from 100 out of 100, reduced down, and all of those bullets had went into the gun and all of those magazines on my body. Another thing you can do is if you have several magazines that are partially full in your backpack, you can actually repool the ones there by just right-clicking and hitting repool ammunition. Here we're looking at the new loot screen. To enter it, find a box or body, hold F, and then select loot from the radial menu. Now you can see the new items to loot at the top of the screen in the red boxes, and all of the items in your backpack or somewhere on your body in the bottom in those blue boxes. To loot items, simply drag from one storage space to another. Personally, I find this UI much quicker to directly equip looted items than the current UI, as you don't need to worry about finding an open item port on your body, you just drag into an available spot. Alright, so for showing the reloading from backpack, I'm going to pull out my Demico here. You can see that I've only got 6 bullets in my current magazine, and if I go into my inventory, turn on these item port helpers, you can see I don't have any other magazines on my chest piece. I do, however, have some right in the backpack here for some more Demico magazines. So I'm going to fire off the rest of the rounds here, and you'll see a slower reload as I reload from the backpack. So it's a little slower than if I were to just go right from the chest piece. It takes a second longer to actually go into the backpack and reload from here. New in 323 is also the removal of the black box around your sniper scope when you're zoomed in, or really any other higher powered scopes. Additionally, there is no longer any auto zeroing. So I'm going to show both of these right now. So I've got my AO3 sniper rifle here, and as I zoom in, you can see that you can still see around you, not just where you're zooming in, which is very nice, so that you've got a little more situational awareness, and it's not as immersion breaking when you don't, when you just have a black bar around the screen that you're zooming in on. You'll also see that the 0 in the bottom right of the scope, that is not auto updating. Prior to 323, there were certain scopes that would auto zero, so you wouldn't have to manually zero in your scope. This is no longer the case, as all will require you to manually zero in on your target. You will want to check your keybinds to see what exactly your button is for it. Next up, we have the minimap and full-size interior maps for FPS players. In 323, all ships and many points of interest have a map. When you're running around, it's just a mini-map in the top left-hand corner, but you're able to open it up using the star map on your Mobi-Glass to see the bigger picture. Here we can see a distribution center I was looking at. Note that you can see the different floor levels, doors which are marked in green, as well as points of interest for missions, which are those chevrons near the top. Overall, I think this is an incredibly welcome change and will help new and old players alike who aren't as familiar with city and ship layouts. Finally, I wanted to quickly show some of the new and changed keybinds coming in 323 for on foot. Feel free to pause so you can read through these. With that being said, I do want to thank you for watching this video, and please like and subscribe.